Okay, first thing we're going to do after we got it out of the crate and everything's unwrapped and all the wires off and everything, we're going to put the handlebars on. You want to take these bolts out right here, the handlebar clamps. Handlebar on. Make sure when you put these handlebars on, these wires come off of the handlebar aren't all twisted up. Make sure you straighten them all up before you put the handlebars on, or you'll have issues when you start putting it together. Okay, we're going to put the speedometer on. You're going to need 3 flat washers and 3 nuts. These are 10mm wrench size. You're going to take the speedometer and you're going to put it in these 3 holes right here, just like this. And you're going to put a washer and a nut on all 3 of the studs. And when you tighten these up, don't get them real tight. Just snug them up. If you get them too tight, you'll break the plastic on the speedometer. You just want to snug them up good. And then take a wrench and snug them up. Don't get them real tight. And then come down here and make sure the speedometer, make sure all the plugs are plugged in. It goes just like this. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to put the clutch handle on and the switch assembly. So we're going to take these bolts out right here. And you're going to need an 8mm wrench for this. And we're going to put it on the handlebar right here. And put the bolts back in. Let's drop it. And you want to try to adjust this equal with the other side. If you look right here, there's a hole for the mirror. It's pointing straight up. You want to try to get this one straight up also. And then tighten your bolts up. Slide this all the way up against the handle grip. And again, you don't want to tighten these up really tight, because if you do, you're going to break it. It's made of aluminum. Tighten both sides equally. Next, you want to put this switch on. You want to put the clutch handle on. And you're going to put this on first. And when you put the 2 screws in, there's a screw right here, and there's another one right here. You're going to put this around the bar up against this. Now you have to be careful, because you got to watch. On the bottom of this piece, there's a little notch that sticks up, and it goes into a hole in the handlebar, and it has to lock into that hole. That keeps this from spinning. Otherwise, if you don't get it in there, you're either going to break this, or it's going to spin around. So once you get that in the hole, then you can slide this up against it, and then you put this on and tighten it up with the 10mm, or 8mm, excuse me. And then that's how that goes on. Next thing you want to check, all your wires that come from your switches. Stick it down through here like this, and make sure they're plugged in, just like that. Once we get all this hooked up, then we'll put the boot down and we'll strap the boot down. I'll show you how to do that when we get to that point. And then you have your wire coming from the other side. You want to unplug it and you want to run it behind all this and run it down through here. Because you don't want it on the outside. You want it behind this bracket right here, speedometer. And then you just plug it back in. Just like that. Okay, on the back of the bike, you have your turn signals, which are already here. You just gotta put them through the hole, put the nut on there. You're gonna need a 14 millimeter wrench, and you're gonna snug them up. You're not gonna get them real tight.
And it's on both sides. Here's the other one as well.
And then you're gonna do the same thing to the other side. The next thing you want to do, you want to raise the bike up in the back, and you want to put the bolt in the bottom of the shock where you see the 2 wrenches, and get that bolt good and tight. And that's how you put the shock on there. Okay, what we're doing now is we're putting the tire on. Brake rotor goes on the left side of the bike if you're sitting on it. Don't forget, you got this spacer right here. It goes on. And then you slide the bolt in on this side first. And then you get the speedometer gear on there. And there's a little notch right here that lines up with that gear, which is not on right now, but put that notch right here so that that doesn't spin. And then you put your nut on and you tighten it down. And to make it easier, I took the brake caliper off because it just makes it a lot easier. Unless you got like 3 people that can hold the bike, hold the steering and everything. So it's easier to take that brake caliper off so that you can get the wheel on a little easier. And then you just put the 2 bolts on and bolt the caliper back on. When you put it back on, you take that little plastic thing right there out, stick a screwdriver in there and spread the pads apart, and make sure you get these pads right here, 1 on each side of the brake rotor, or it won't work properly. Next thing we do is we're going to hook up the battery. Most dirt bikes, the battery's under the seat. On this bike, it's not under the seat. It's behind this panel. And all you do is take out this 1 Phillips screw right here. Pop this panel off. And the battery's right here. You want to take the battery out, take the strap off, take the battery out, and take this plastic cover off. You don't want this plastic on here because you want the battery to be able to breathe. And then you hook the red wire to the positive side, the negative wire to the negative side. Once you do that, you put your cover back on. It's got a tab right here and a tab right here. One goes here, the other one goes here. You put the front one in first, because this right here is going to hit the voltage regulator, so you got to kind of push in on that. Put that in, and then pop the back one in. And it goes just like that, and then you put your screw back in. Now, once you got your battery hooked up, make sure you get the positive. Make sure it looks like this. Your negative looks like this. Because if you put it on upside down, then you won't be able to get the cover back on. Also, make sure these wires are not out here like this. They're behind this bracket. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this body panel on. The easiest way to put this on, you need the short bolt. And it goes in on this side, like that. It's going to go right here, this bolt. The other bolt goes right here. the bottom one on first. It makes it easier. Then you're going to use the other bolt, which is a Phillips screw on the top. And there's two short ones. You want to use the two short screws that came with the bike. One on this side and one on the other side. Do not put a long screw in this hole. If you put a long screw in this hole, you'll poke a hole in the gas tank. So make sure you use the short screw. And there's two of them. Next thing we want to do is put this cover on right here.
I don't care if it's called car.
There's a bolt right here.
I don't care.
And there's a bolt right here. And that piece goes on top of the muffler. One thing you want to do is put this brake pedal on right here. You're going to take the nut. Both nuts are on one side. You're going to have to take it off. But take one nut off and put one nut on the bottom. And then this goes through this hole right here. And there's a clip and a washer that goes on there. And then you're going to put this on. And then adjust this to where when you push it, the brake light comes on when the key is on. Or you won't have any brake lights. Next thing you want to do is put on your front turn lights, one on each side. And the wires, when you run the wires down, this is how the colors go. You got orange to blue, green to green, green to green, orange to blue on the other side. That's how the wires go. So when you turn the turn signals on, that's the way it should work. Okay, we're going to put the headlight on. To put the headlight on, you want to hook your wires up right here. You have a plug with a green, white, and blue, and then you have a brown, and hook the two browns up. Once you do that, then you got these little tabs right here on the bottom, and they're going to hook into these little holes right there. And you just hook this into those holes, flip it up, and then once you flip it up, you got a screw that goes here and a screw that goes over here on the other side. You're good.